Hey, I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random. Today, we're looking at a World War II chronograph. Now today on loan from a friend of mine is a Jardur Bezelmeter from World War II, supposedly flown in the war itself. Now this thing is over 70 years old and it still functions. Let's take a closer look. First, a brief history of the Jardur Watch Company, previously known as the Jardur Import Company, which was founded by Samuel Klepler in New York City, New York in 1937. Samuel himself was a pilot, and the watches he designed were for a special class of users for which the management of time was very important in their profession. Based out of the address 874 Broadway in New York City, New York, the Jardur Import Company was the exclusive importer from Switzerland of the well-known Jardur Aviation waterproof Bezelmeter chronographs and the Jardur Aviation waterproof wristwatches. In 1945, based on the production of various aviation and flight accessories, the company changed its name to the Jardur Aviation Company. The Jardur precision timers were especially designed for pilots and incorporated outstanding features necessary and desirable in all flying procedures. These aviation timepieces were greatly appreciated by the top military officers of those times. Now let's talk about the actual watch itself. The Bezelmeter was designed for pilots. It was essentially a cockpit instrument for the wrist. Two features incorporated in the design give clear evidence of its intent. The bezel on the case is an independent chapter ring graduated in counterclockwise hours. Rotating this ring to align the mission duration hours with the hour hand on the dial at takeoff gives the pilot a quick reference of the flight time remaining during any point in the mission. The dial is essentially a 12-hour recording chronograph with a 30-minute elapsed time recorder on the right. It can also track a second time zone with the 12-hour bezel by setting an offset to the hour hand of the actual time. These things were essential to a pilot from that era for both calculating waypoints for fuel stops and setting the second time zone for crossing from one to another. A tachymeter on the outside edge and 60-second counter around the center, including in the subdials. The second feature is the red degree meter scale on the dial, which is graduated from 0 to 180. The aircraft have control settings to produce a standard turn rate of 3 degrees a second, meaning that the chronograph function can be used to measure the amount of turn. At 37 millimeters in diameter, this is considered a large watch for the time, as most men's watches were generally smaller. The engine inside is a Valjoux 72 manual wind, and it is still running after 70 years of use. The watch is very light when you hold it in your hand. The one thing I love the most about this watch is the curve of the crystal. I'm going to show you right here. It is just a beautiful crystal that is set relatively high on the wrist itself. It does have a beautiful finish. I couldn't even imagine how this looked brand new. It does have a snap-back case back, which only offers a minimal water resistance rating, but any vintage watch I would never get wet, period. It does have a beautiful dial, and you see it still functions just fine. This watch does need a service, but after over 70 years, I think that this thing is still amazing. Now, this watch was purchased by my friend's grandfather during World War II itself, and I can tell you it has seen some action. Now, as you see, it does fit almost perfectly on my 7¼ inch wrist, not too big, not too small. And there's something that I love about wearing history on my wrist, something that has a story behind it. If you think the same way, leave a comment and let me know. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment of what you would like to see next. Until next time.